Evening, everybody. Well, it's evening for me. Who knows what time? Who knows what time it is when you watch this? But we're plowing through all these game changer episodes. Season 2, episode 4, and I'll probably say this all the time, but all the guests that I bring on here are amazing. Everybody is unique in their own way, and they're also amazing in their own way. So as I say, people get tired of listening to me, so that's why I have to hand the mic over straight away to our guest. So it's over to you. First questions, just tell everybody who you are, first of all, what you do, and I always ask why. So the floor is yours, my friend.
Sure. Well, my name is Álvaro Pérez Toro, also known as by my close friends and relatives. I'm a Chilean scout, a Chilean pro scout based over here in South America. Um, and yeah, right now for Sport Republic, linked up with especially with Göztepe, a Turkish club in the Super League. And why do I do it? Well, I love football. That's my passion. That's something South Americans do tend to go to, either as us or just as fans. But personally, I took on the idea of becoming a prospect from a young age. So here we are now.
Nice, man. And just to quickly touch on your roles, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
for me, with the roles I have, I'm based in Ireland, and I have roles in Ireland and remote roles, sorry, in the UK. But for yourself, for those who don't know, you're obviously you're based in Chile. You have a role in the UK, and you also have a role in Turkey. So how do they come about? Did you find these roles online, or did you know people in these clubs, or how did you get into the roles? Is what I'm trying to ask.
Oh, of course. Well, as most of us football we have to do, we have to go through an interview process. So the interview process went on March, mid March, maybe early March of 2025. I applied, and luckily enough, one of my ex bosses was at the help recruiting the recruiting program. His name is Lee Scott, and now he's in Southampton. So he has been working for Southampton a long time, about 2 or 3 years now. I worked with him at Vélez Club de Football back then in the fourth or sixth division in Spain. Just a semi-pro club trying to make it big. I was there as an intern. So when I heard about Sports Republic, I decided to, as most people did, a year ago or so, and I went through the interview process. Went fine, pretty much. That's why I'm here. In all seriousness, I'm the only South American involved with, let's say, new recruits from March. So that's something that it's big, at least for me. I'd say my knowledge about the South American, and obviously from this area, specifically in youth football, is something that I'm very big on. And I'd say that that's a major factor of why I'm working within the Sports Republic, let's say, structure, I'd say.
Super. And then just to give a little bit of background information to everybody else, um, how do we know each other? And we obviously we speak quite a lot because I think people in football understand. I
Mhm.
mean, the more that you're in football, you understand. Like me and you and a couple of other friends are probably on the phone to each other nearly every day speaking about this because
Yeah.
I have a scouting role and you have a scouting role. So yeah, so like I said, a bit of a long-winded question, but how do we know each other, and what sort of ideas have we shared? And yeah, away you go.
Yeah. how we met each other. Well, I got to know you last year. Um, yeah, I'm a big fan of your podcast. That's why I'm here, and I'm very glad that you invited me on. First and foremost, I should have said that earlier on, but it's never too late, I'd say. But
Thank
yeah,
you.
we met through one of your previous interviews from Rui Barbosa, the Canadian the Canadian scout that's working for the Canada soccer program as well. So yeah, he introduced us about a month ago, and we just managed to click and together very well, which I'm grateful for.
No, honestly, I love the one thing that I love is so obviously look, I was born in Ireland. I grew up in Ireland. You were born in Chile and grew up in Chile. And the one thing that I really love, especially like nowadays when I speak to people, is that like there's so many different ideas out there. Like if you wanted to compare sort of the Chilean football to the Irish football or to the style of coaching, it's so different. Every nation, in my opinion, maybe some things might overlap, but every nation kind of has like their own unique philosophy. So I love when I'm speaking to you, or speaking to other friends, other guests. But yeah, no, it's great, and we've given each other loads of ideas, and I have to say, um, I've picked up a lot of knowledge from you. I wouldn't have had the same knowledge of South American football, but yeah, my man, I've picked up a
Yeah,
lot of knowledge.
yeah, that's the best way of talking about football. I'd say meeting people as well. Football is a bonding tool to just meet people from other places. Luckily enough, we all speak English.
Yeah, that's a good start.
Um, so yeah, that's big. No, but for real, that's knowing people from other places, their own backgrounds, getting to know life experiences, how we can relate to them as well. It doesn't get much better than that, really.
No, and then so obviously we've spoken about you growing up in Chile, but
Hmm.
I know that you're a Newcastle fan. I mean, I know people are gonna give out to me, but I have a local team that I support in Ireland, and then I have a team abroad in the UK, which is Chelsea. But is there one team or where is there one team that you follow? Maybe question one, and like in
Hmm.
Chile, or is there? I don't know. Like, what's the closest team to you? Is that the same team that you follow?
Ah,
And I don't know.
yeah, that's a great question. So when I was younger, when I was between 8, maybe until 10, here in my hometown, Cabildo, that team that played in the third division, that was AGC Cabildo, Anita Garcia Cerda de Cabildo, which the name comes from the treasure person that allowed us to have an amateur football trying to make it pro back then, about 20 to 20 years ago. Um, so yeah, that came about. So I was a Cabildo fan more than a pro one when it was time for to pick a professional football team here in Chile. Most Chileans are Colo Colo fans nowadays, Universidad de Chile fans. But I went and I became the black sheep of the family because I gone my mother's club, which is Universidad Católica. So yeah, since 7 or 8, I've also been a huge fan of Católica. I've been through the ups and downs, more ups than downs in recent time, especially given that we won 4 titles in a row. Not long ago, just about 2 seasons ago. So that was amazing
Wow.
to see. Uh, some decent runs at at continental level as well. Not really, making to the semifinals because for Chilean teams it's very hard to make it through into the latter stages of the Sudamericana and obviously Libertadores competitions. But yeah, big Universidad Católica fan as well as also. With Newcastle, it's more of a geek type of stuff because I'm an avid Pro Evo player since I was 10. I pretty much played all best games, all winning 11 games, all versions, on the PS2, PS3, PSP versions, whatever you wanna, have. I have played it. So to go back to PES 08, 2008, and there were only two teams that were left, which was Tottenham Hotspur and obviously Newcastle United. And I was like, okay, let's play Newcastle United. But earlier than that, I had a game on my PC that was Actua Soccer 3 that was from Gremlin Interactive, if I'm not mistaken. It was an English publisher, an English company. I don't know how I got that game actually, but and I don't know why, but I've always picked Newcastle as to play friendlies or random cups. Pick Newcastle. Then PES came about. I was played with Newcastle, and then yeah, from just playing with that club on a football game, I just became more fond and more fond about the history of the club. Got to know as well that there were several Chileans that played there, like the Robledo bro in the mid 40s, mid 50s. Both of them are some sort of legends over there, especially George Robledo. You have Clarence Acuña, that was the latest Chilean to play for Newcastle back in the late 90s to early 2000s. So yeah, pretty much just a connection there with Newcastle and the Chilean community. Fun fact: George Robledo, which in Spanish is Jorge Robledo, by the way, he was
Yeah.
born in Iquique. He was in Iquique in the early 1900s, if I'm not mistaken. And obviously, in Iquique, which is a port city, not a poor city, port city, they imported things, they sold fish, they had big businesses. Their family went and moved to the UK, so they established in and obviously they moved to Newcastle once George became this massive goal scorer over there in the UK. So what's the fun fact? Iquique has a football team, which is the Deportes Iquique. And not long ago, they released a second shirt, an away shirt, that had the Newcastle United colors with. So there's a connection between Iquique, Jorge Robledo, and Newcastle. So I'm not saying that there's a direct correlation between the teams and they're affiliated, but there's some sort of, passion between Chile and obviously Newcastle as a city. So
Nice.
yeah, from a random football game, it just became an obsession. I've been there in the Russian stages. Now I'm more than happy because we are challenging and we're playing Champions League. But yeah, 10 years ago it was tough. Being a Newcastle fan and having Alexis playing at Arsenal, my whole family was like, you gotta be an Arsenal fan. Alexis is here. Your idol is here. Why are you not supporting Arsenal? And of course, I watched most of Arsenal when Alexis was playing. Um, but yeah, I didn't switch a layer. I decided to stick with Newcastle, and I'd say that it has paid off.
There you go. Oh yeah, especially with the trophies that they won last year. And I think even for me, it's similar in a way that also obviously I have what the team who I support here is Shamrock Rovers, and then the team over in the UK is Chelsea. But it was that link. It was originally Damien Duff. So Damien Duff, obviously for those who don't know, is a ex-Irish international. He got 100 caps for Ireland, and it was at the time when I only just supported Ireland, and then when I found out that he played for Chelsea, similar to what you were saying, with the history and Chilean players going over to Newcastle, going back 50, 60, 70 years ago, I think when there's that like little connection, it just makes it a bit more special. Now, I mean, similar to yourself, as far as I know, there's no Irish players in around anywhere near the first team. Maybe under 18s, under and below. But no, I think that sort of that connection is good. But then I
Yeah.
would say moving on for you, what sort of big goals? I mean, the way I see this is like imagine you can do anything, literally anything. Like, like what sort of big goals do you have in your life? And it's not just related
Oh.
to what you do. It can be literally related to anything. So, is there something that you would really, really, really like to do? Is there anything that just maybe don't. Maybe there's a couple of things. That's why I've left it at goals. But I mean, is there a couple of things you'd like to
Hmm.
do in your life or achieve in your life?
Yeah, of course, man. Um, there are several things that I wanted to do when I was younger. For instance, this is not related to football at all, but it's related to one of my passions, which is back there. Of course, music, guitar. I've always wanted to write an instrumental um album. I have pieces. I have some songs recorded, but they are not, let's say, the cream. I'd love to re-record them. When it comes to football, when it comes to actives, long term, I would love to work within the Chilean FA structure. I would love to set this kind of Clairefontaine types of academy that you have all around the world, like over there in England, you have St. George's academies. These big acres of just football, sports driven infrastructure with pitches, with proper equipment. That's something that I believe personally that Chile is lacking. Have the best infrastructure in comparison to other countries in the region, let alone the US or Mexico, because they are on another level. But yeah, I'd love to work with the Chilean FA, especially focusing on trying to recruit dual nationals. Yeah, let's say that I'm in brackets famous within the scouting community, or at least I'm some sort of, like legend that no one knows exists, but I do exist. Again,
Legend
that's
is right.
yeah. Being in brackets, I don't consider myself a legend, by the way. I'm just saying things that people have said to me here and abroad, which is again finding Ben Brereton's Diaz dual nationality in late 2020, which was a massive deal here in Chile and still is a massive thing here in Chile. Um, but yeah, I was involved with that through Football Manager, playing at the time. I just stumbled with his profile and that he was half Chilean. And I thought to myself, is this a joke, man? We need a striker. Maybe it's a mistake. Maybe one of the scouts over them, I don't know, misclicked Canada for Chile or something. And some thorough, well, not thorough, but fast look Google, and I typed like Ben Brereton Diaz Chile, and apparently in transfer market he was listed as half Chilean. And then I found an interview that he provided to Blackburn Rovers by when he first joined, I believe back in 2018. And he said that, well, these obviously English football programs, like these pamphlets that you are given or that you pay for. And apparently Ben was tasked an A to Z, and the U question was an unknown question, or like give us a random fact about. And Ben said that I'm half Chilean. My mom is Chilean. She was born there. No one believes me that I'm Chilean, but I'm half Chilean. And I'd love to play for Chile in the future if that ever comes, around. And I took that seriously. Like 2 years after Ben gave that interview, I took it seriously, and I said like, okay, let's do something. At the time, I used Twitter because we had a podcast with some Argentine friends about Football Manager. So I decided to use that platform along with, our friendship, because my friends pushed me to say the name. I didn't really want to do it. I actually said to one of my close mates that, bro, you say it. I just don't want to do it. I don't feel confident enough. And he told me like, okay, if you don't do it, I won't do it either. And the player that you found will go missing. I was like, oh, yeah, I have to, I have to do it. I'm forced now. Like I have my back to the wall, and I got to do something, which I did. I created the hashtag Brereton La Roja trend, which at the start didn't really pick any attention. It wasn't really strong, but when Monday, I'm trying to remember the exact date, but I remember the day. I mean, I know that it was a Monday, but I don't remember the number. But yeah, when Monday came around, one of my one of my close mates that used to work for CDF, which is now TNT Sport we have here in Chile as well. He asked me, "Is this real? Like, have a half Chilean player in the championship?" And I told him, "Yes, this is these are the proofs that I have to support that my theory is correct. Half Chilean, he might be eligible to represent us." He said, like, "Say no more, fam. Let me do something." And in less than 30 minutes, I had all Chilean social media calling me by either on Twitter, on Instagram, or to personal number, which I don't know how they get it, but they got it. Um, but yeah, pretty much that trend became viral, and people started waiting for Ben to be called up for national team. But again, that's something that I did 5 years ago, and I believe that there are more half Chilean talents that would like to represent Chile. They just be granted an opportunity to do so. And again, in the future, I would love to be linked with that. I would love to have a event where we can track players to play for Chile. Again, in 20, 30, 40 years, I don't think that, you know, I don't think that will happen anytime soon. Short term, I'd love to keep focusing on what's related to the public. Um, of course, I'd love to go to bigger clubs. Or I don't know, to Manchester City and Bayern Munich and Juventus, and I believe that more outs are likely to have those dreams, and rightly so. And I have the same chance, but at the moment, I'm happy where I am. I'm content within the organization. It's great. They are understandable. You can, crack jokes and, be serious when you have to. Again, it's really a type of environment where you can actually thrive and you can be yourself and you can express yourself the best way that you can, and people allow you to be yourself. Which again, that's something that in other places you don't really find, but right where I'm at, I feel that things are going in a great direction. Right now, with my current position at Gostepe as a scout, as a video scout, as a review scout, right now we're fourth in the Turkish league. And again, the objectives are there. We have high hopes on finishing the season on a strong note. We still have half of the season to go. We're pushing there, and of course we'd like to go and have an opportunity within European competitions, whether it's Champions League, Europe Conference League. Of course, that's the dream. We will see if we get there. Hopefully, we get there, because other teams in the division will strengthen. Will send players to be on the same positions that we are at the moment. But yeah, short term, I want to focus solely on what I'm doing for Gostepe and Sports Republic in itself. Midterm, again, I'd love to keep on growing as a person and as a professional. I'd love to do some more scouting badges. That's something that I have, um, set in stone for 2026 and 2027. Of course, it would be ideal some UEFA badges or South American badges when it comes to management. But again, that's on the side, not really related to football. Again, yes, football, but not related to scouting and long term. I'd love to be involved with the FA. Again, if we're talking about personal goals, of course, I'd love to go back to music. I'd
There
love
you go.
I'd love to go back there. Um, I'm potentially learning a language. Why not? Um, Maybe Italian, maybe Portuguese. I'm still thinking about. I don't know if I'll do it, but that's something that I'd love to pursue in the future for sure.
Wow, man, no, that's amazing. You seem to be. It's great to hear people who are so willing to learn, which is obviously super, and you've obviously taken a lot on board over the course of your life, which is brilliant. Um, then just to touch on the last little part,
Hmm.
part. So there's two parts of this question. So part one is kind of like I've written it as like advice to your younger self, but it can just genuinely be advice to yourself because I know
Okay.
for me starting off, well, like when I was really really young, um, I I genuinely don't know if I would have been in this position, but I probably wouldn't. So it can just be
Hmm.
even advice to yourself, and then every episode I have to mention a friend of mine because he was the one who created this last question, which is part two is so Jack Sweeney Leahy gets a shout out, and it's what will you work on this week to improve your career goals? So
Cool.
advice to your younger self or advice to yourself,
Yeah.
and then what can you work on? I mean, okay, well, obviously, I know this is Friday, so maybe even say what can you work on starting next week. And now, and
Yeah.
it's a hard question to ask, but anyway, you have 7 minutes to think of an answer.
7 minutes. Wow. Short time. Younger self advice. I'd say to my own like little kid, let's say little Alvaro, about 10 years ago when I was 16, 17, without knowledge about life and things. I'd say because I actually started scouting when I was very young. I started scouting back in 20, so actually 10 years ago. Um, but I didn't really connect with anyone. I didn't really, in depth when it came to scouting, and of course, to fair with you and to be really honest, I didn't think that this career was possible here in Chile. Like there are not many careers or jobs related to football more than again footballers, managers, coaching, fitness, physios, mans, people that are CEOs within a football club. But yeah, to be an actual, it's been a pleasure so far. But yeah, 10 years ago, I would have loved to make contacts. I would have loved to contact with people to create bonds, to make relationships, to start writing reports as soon as possible because I started very late to write reports. Believe me or not, back then I just grabbed a random piece of paper watching a football game. I was, hey, I like this guy, writing the name down, the number down, and potentially the position that they played at, but nothing in detail. Like, oh, okay, this guy has this, this guy this. Like, no, just like all focused on say vibes
Yeah,
rather than something substantial.
yeah,
Um, so something that I advise to a young coque pretty much focus on football. Of course, take it as a hobby, but start chatting with that akin to your own philosophy, to your own likes, to your own perception of football, and obviously create bonds and have good friends along this 3 to 4 scouting path career that I have had. I've met wonderful people like you, like Rui, and other people that the list is long, so I can't really name them all. But I'm grateful to have met them. Wonderful people, both and on and off the football field. So yeah, that's one thing. And improve career goals, life, stay constant. That's something that I still have to work on. Of course, life gets in the way, and we have different things to do through the day. You have to go and buy things, you have to fix things around the house. So yeah, stay constant, keep on, you know, trying to achieve your goals. Don't lose like the Ted Lasso meme, like believe, like have
Yeah,
this mantra, big piece of paper with big letters on in front of your screen or like on your roof or ceiling. Like believe. I didn't really think that it was possible, and I said it like 2 years ago. And again, I didn't believe that it was possible, but it was. And now I'm living. I'm making a living of pretty much watching football, which I didn't really thought it was possible. My family didn't really thought it was a chance, at least here. And third, uh, keep on grinding. I'd say I'm sometimes tired of watching football because it is exhausting watching film, watching several games a day. But that's what makes things interesting. I'd say trying to find this hidden gem from nowhere, and that comes with again grind. Keep focusing. Of course, we have to pace ourselves. Yeah, sometimes we'll get like over the line, and we just want to do things at once straight. So yeah, there's time for obviously to you know to take time off and spend time with the family. Take a short walk to the park, but at the same time, being constant, being on time, believing on what's possible. It's really a game changer for anyone that wants to go into football. And it's tough. It's a harsh environment when it comes to opportunities, but once you're in, again, it's very like you feel you earned it. You feel it's different, and especially if it's your passion, then you don't have a job, pretty much. Um, you are living off a hobby and obviously your love for the game, which I'm doing, and I'm sure that Finian now with the Irish FA. So I don't know if I still have time, but
well,
yeah,
that was amazing. It's a very
been great
poetic
to be
way.
here, man. Yeah, poets. Chile is a land of poets. We have, literature prizes and etc. But
Yeah.
yeah, like Tommy Shelby would say, I'm no poet. Read things. Yeah, but
Oh,
again, it's been a wonderful time. Whenever you want to make a second part, maybe in a few years, count with me. Um, Again, I can't really speak more highly of you, man. So thanks for having me on the podcast.
well, thank you. First of all, thank you for giving up an hour of your time today to obviously speak. And like I said about poetic ending, absolutely brilliant. I think I can clearly say this that if it's a passion of yours and it's a hobby, you don't wake up and you don't work. So obviously, okay, man, I want to thank you. It's been amazing. It's been interesting. It's been insightful, and like I genuinely mean this. When obviously I know you quite well, but you're a top guy. So for everybody listening, I just want to say thank you very much. Thank you to Koke, and we'll see you all later on.
Chaito.